This is really, really an exciting election year. There's a lot of energy and enthusiasm, and it's incumbent upon all of us to capture that and channel it to productive purposes. And I think one of the most productive things we can do is restore some balance in Beacon Hill. And we don't have a lot of debate at the State House now. Most everything goes on behind closed doors. When we are faced with a formal session, it's sort of like, the ratification of what has been decided by others. And the reality is, one of the biggest reforms that we could probably do or achieve is we could just say, look, we don't really need 160 representatives. We need, maybe 5, maybe 3 in the Senate. We really need about 8 people, because that's really how they try to work everything. It's the Speaker of the House, maybe the Chair of Ways and Means, and everybody else is just sort of, I refer to sometimes the Democratic caucus as the mushroom caucus. They like to be kept in the dark and fed manure, and they're generally pretty happy. Too. And I think Brad is somebody who's been out there plugging away day in, day out. I think he is a tremendous candidate who brings a lot to the race. I think will be a tremendous advocate for the people in Boston and his district. I know he's got part of Cambridge too.
And it starts with each and every one of you. It starts by you opening up your hearts and your wallets, by you talking to your friends, neighbors, by being on Twitter saying that you were at a great lunch, by being on Facebook, by leaving here and walking down the block to Starbucks and saying, you know what, I was just at a fabulous luncheon for Brad Marston, who lives down the block and is running for state rep against Marty Walsh. And you know what happens, because I do it all the time at the Starbucks over here? Someone listens, and then it starts engaging people. I talk to every cab driver, they're all on the same wavelength. So get out there, talk to your friends and neighbors, but most importantly, just please be out there to help our great candidate, Brad Marston, because he needs the help and the support, and it can be done. And if we can win this seat right here, wow, what a message that will send. Right. I get the honor. I never get the honor of doing this. Awesome.
He never gets the honor of introducing me, so.
Whereas he's running the hats.
Well, then it is my great honor to introduce the tallest man in the room, but also the next governor of the Commonwealth, Charlie Baker.
Sometimes I just don't know where to go after someone gets done introducing me, and this would be one of those moments. Thank you so much, Jen, for basically leaving a guy like me speechless. Let me just say a couple things. First of all, thank you very much to everybody for coming out for Brad today. But then every once in a while, an election comes along where the roles reverse. And this is going to be one of those years. And every challenger, whether it's, and I think it's funny that it was a Brad, and a Brad, but we got Brad Williams, we got Brad Marston, and a host of other terrific candidates running this year for the legislature. This is one of those years where every challenger is going to get a good vote from the electorate, and where the burden of proof normally rests on the challenger to make the case for change. This is one of these elections where in many cases a lot of incumbents are going to have to make the case to the voters about why they should be allowed to stay. And I do believe that this is one of those years where we have a chance to start the process of taking back Beacon Hill, taking back state government from special interests. And Brad's a very independent thinker. I love the fact that you talked about sort of common ground and common sense on this, having gotten to know him and talked to him about the issues. He is somebody who I believe brings the right kind of temperament and the right approach to this, and the work ethic and the commitment to the task that's required to win one of these races. And this is a year where everybody, even here, I believe, is going to take a good look at the alternatives and give them serious consideration. But for Brad to win and for others to win, they're going to need the support of everybody who wants to see dramatic change on Beacon Hill, who wants to see a common sense approach to budgeting and governance and everything else, who wants to see state government play by the same rules everybody else plays by every single day.
You know, I'm going to be brief, because really this election and this campaign is pretty simple. Now, I don't like to call this a change election. It's a redirect and reform election. And the issues are jobs and spending. On Monday, my campaign started our initial voter phone banking to identify voters, and we've made over 1,000 phone calls, and we've actually talked to 100 registered Republican independent voters. And overwhelmingly, when we ask, are you at least somewhat likely to vote for a pro-jobs, reform-minded political outsider over the Democrat incumbent, the answer is overwhelmingly yes. And when we ask them, if Brad Marston is elected, what should his first priority be up in the legislature? And overwhelmingly, it's support small business and entrepreneurs to grow and create jobs. Spending is actually related to jobs. Because what people need to realize is that before government can spend a dollar, they first have to take it out of the pocket of individuals and families, and now that dollar can't be spent in our local businesses, our local companies. And every dollar that the state government takes from a business is another dollar that can't be reinvested in that business, and it can't be spent on salaries and benefits for workers. And I've met the incumbent, Marty Walls, a number of times, and she's always been very cordial. She's just, the issue is jobs and spending, and she's just wrong on those issues. But if you go to her website and look under issues, and this is true from 6 years ago to today, she has never listed jobs as a concern. And her website reflects her record. She's been in there 6 years, and in those 6 years, the National Federation of Independent Businesses, which is basically the advocacy for small businesses and entrepreneurs who create the most jobs, have taken positions on 30 bills. And she's voted in support of the people who create jobs a total of once. And that's when she even bothers to show up and vote. 2007, 2008, she missed 50% of the recorded votes on, they're supported by people, again, who create jobs. So, now she does vote to cut spending. Okay? I have to give her that. She's voted to cut $130 million in local aid to Boston and Cambridge. That's a vote to take policemen off the street. That's a vote to take firefighters out of our local firehouses. It's a vote to take teachers out of the classroom. And it's a vote that is probably going to lead to 4 of our public libraries being closed.
I guess you're smart.